After the fake scholarship student pretended to be poor and gave me a crimson berry to steal my success. On the first day of freshman year, my scholarship student roommate handed me a crimson berry. She claimed it was a local specialty from her hometown. I didn't have the heart to refuse, so I ate it right there. Unexpectedly, my looks began to fade, and my temper grew uncontrollable. I gradually forgot the ballet and equestrian skills I had practiced since childhood. My parents and brother grew increasingly impatient with me, treating me like a disgrace. My roommate, on the other hand, saw her figure and looks improve by the day. She had never touched a piano, chessboard, or paintbrush, yet she mastered them instantly, becoming the undisputed campus queen. Even my parents couldn't stop praising her. Finally, I discovered that every single one of my roommate's test scores matched my projected grades exactly. I couldn't help but confront her, only to overhear my parents discussing it with her. Bella truly is our biological daughter. With just one achievement-stealing spell, she easily took back everything that belonged to her. That was when I realized the fruit my roommate, Bella, gave me wasn't some local specialty at all. And Bella wasn't an ordinary poor student. She was my parents' biological daughter, whom they had found long ago, but hid beside me disguised as a scholarship student. Unwilling to accept this, I tried to confront them, but my brother ran me down with his sports car, killing me on the spot. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day Bella offered me the crimson berry as a hometown specialty. You like stealing people's achievements, right? Steal away. This time, I'll make sure you steal until you choke on it. At the start of freshman year, my parents insisted I live on campus, claiming I needed to experience the school atmosphere. After standing at attention all morning for orientation drills and organizing my luggage, a red berry was suddenly thrust in front of my face. Hi, this is a specialty from my hometown. It's a gift. Please don't despise it, okay? The voice was timid, as if she were terrified I would refuse. I froze for a moment, looking up to meet Bella's cautious gaze. Her face was pale, and her eyes darted away the moment they met mine, as if I were some kind of monster. In my past life, she acted the exact same way. Before I could even speak, I had already been branded a bully. Sure enough, this time Sophie, the roommate sleeping opposite me, eagerly chimed in. Hey princess, we're going to be sleeping in the same room for 4 years. You wouldn't refuse to give us even a little face, would you? Exactly, the other roommate, Sarah, added, backing her up. Or is the princess too high and mighty to look at us normal people? I was raised by my grandfather. Grandpa Vance always taught me never to look down on anyone. He said that ordinary people from modest backgrounds are often more sincere than the wealthy. It's just that sometimes their pride is much more fragile. So in my last life, seeing Bella's timidity, I immediately took the berry and ate it. The fruit was small and melted in my mouth. But I never imagined that this tiny fruit would completely alter the trajectory of my life. After adopting me, my parents were always lukewarm toward me, except for their annual ritual to find their biological child. However, they still gave me the standard education of an elite family. Piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting were the foundation. Horseback riding and fencing were standard. Sailing and ballet were included too. Not wanting to disappoint them, I studied everything seriously and achieved impressive results in every field. According to the plan, I wanted to go to Oxford to study. But just before I was set to leave, Mother suddenly said she didn't want me too far from home and forcibly stuffed me into this university, which was decent, but still a far cry from my dreams. That would have been fine. After a few years, I could have still applied to grad school abroad. However, as soon as I entered this college, my life seemed to fall under a curse. First, my body gained weight for no reason, and my looks withered. An 18-year-old girl started looking 38. Second, the skills I was most familiar with, things I had practiced thousands of times, dancing, riding, sailing, fencing, I gradually forgot how to do them. What I couldn't accept most was that despite the knowledge being crystal clear in my mind, and despite writing it out perfectly on exam papers, every time I checked my grades, I got a hopeless 0. The first time I used my family status to pull the exam papers and check the surveillance footage, I saw blank pages. The footage showed me sitting there, never answering a single question. It was as if I had taken the exam in my imagination. Unwilling to give up, I repeatedly requested checks and reviewed the footage, annoying the student council and the proctors to no end. They even whispered behind my back that I was crazy, that ugly girls always stir up drama. In stark contrast to me was my roommate, Bella. She went from being a dark, tacky girl from the sticks to a radiant, watery-eyed beauty. Her figure became extraordinarily good, tiny waist, perky curves, and she effortlessly took the title of campus queen that year. At the same time, she actively joined school clubs and showed unprecedented, high-level talent for things she had never touched before. She mastered everything instantly. She quickly became the school's famous talented girl. Classmates put photos of Bella and me side by side on the campus forum, discussing us openly. During those days, every time I opened the forum or pulled back my bed curtains, I felt so suffocated I could hardly breathe. What was even harder to believe was that my parents and brother showed intensely strong appreciation for Bella. It wasn't until I went home for the holidays in a mental daze that I heard my parents hugging Bella and talking. I learned that Bella was the biological daughter they had found. Afraid my brilliance would overshadow hers, they deliberately placed me in the same school. They made me eat that red berry to steal every achievement I had gained through countless hours of persistence and sweat. When my brother, Brad, found out I knew, he didn't even ask a question. He decided I was jealous of Bella and ran me down with his sports car, crushing me repeatedly until I breathed my last. Actually, they didn't need to do that. I was lucky they adopted me. It allowed me to survive and achieve what I did. If they had just asked, I would have willingly been a stepping stone for Bella. But they shouldn't have stolen everything I worked for. They shouldn't have taken my life. Now that I'm back, I looked at the red berry in front of me, ignoring the jeers of the other two roommates, and took the fruit, slipping it into my pocket. Thanks. Seeing that I didn't eat it on the spot, Sophie sneered. Oh wow, really playing the princess card now? I heard that before the Vance family adopted you, you were just an orphan. What are you pretending for? Do we need to steam, boil, and smoke it like a royal banquet for you? Sarah giggled foolishly. Don't forget your roots, princess. The malice in their words was too obvious, as if I had returned to my past life. After my body and face changed, the two of them often mocked me like this. Back then, I couldn't figure out what was happening, so I could only hide in my bed curtains and cry in secret. My stomach suddenly growled, and an idea struck me. Since Bella loves stealing other people's achievements so much, I'll just give her everyone's achievements. I'd like to see how my good father, good mother, and good brother clean up her mess when that happens. I looked Sarah and Sophie up and down. Before I even spoke, their expressions shifted with insecurity. Only then did I speak lightly. I didn't realize your view of the wealthy was so narrow. I shook my head, acting as if I couldn't be bothered to talk to them, and waved the red berry at Bella. Don't worry. This is a heartfelt gift from a roommate. Why would I waste it? It's just that we're about to eat lunch. My family has a habit of eating fruit after meals. If you guys really like it, why don't I give it to you? I reached into my pocket and pulled the red berry back out. The three of them exchanged a quick glance. Sophie was the first to shake her head. That's the one Bella gave you. We won't fight you for it. Yeah, exactly. Sarah acted like Sophie's echo chamber, immediately agreeing. I forced a smile. Just as I expected, whoever eats this red berry will have their achievement stolen. Just then my phone buzzed. My good mother, Mrs. Vance, sent me a rare message, instructing me to unite with my classmates, be kind to others, and absolutely not use my family background to act recklessly. To this end, she righteously cut my allowance to $200 a month. She froze the card Grandpa gave me. She demanded I eat only in the cafeteria, calling it experiencing the life of ordinary people. In my past life, I was overjoyed by her rare, earnest advice. I immediately told her how well I was getting along with my roommates. Not only was I kind to everyone, but I also took on all the cleaning duties for the dorm. Later on, Bella and the others even threw their clothes at me to wash. I was also responsible for paying for the dorm's daily supplies. It got to the point where I often couldn't afford to eat enough. I had to lower my own standard of living. Because of this, I always assumed my skin changes, loss of looks, and ruined figure were due to a poor diet. Until I went home early due to illness and stumbled upon that scene. Until I died, and she stood over me, finally revealing a look of disgust and hatred. She said, "Everything of yours belonged to me originally. I'm just taking back what's mine." She was completely unaware that I was forcibly adopted by the Vance family. Just because I looked a little like her, they used my blood for annual ritual sacrifices just to find her. And I actually had 3 other families to choose from back then. So in this life, no one is going to manipulate me again. Freshmen were still exploring the area around the school, so most people were eating in the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, there was a special broth called focus soup, said to be developed by professors at the medical school. Rumor had it that drinking it would enhance memory and gradually improve knowledge retention. Because of this, most students at the school went to the cafeteria every day to get focus soup. I planned to put the berry in the focus soup. In my past life, these classmates constantly mocked me on the forums and looked down on me in person. I wanted to see if these people would still look kindly upon Bella after losing their own achievements. However, Bella and the other 2 stuck to me like glue. Sometimes they said the cafeteria was so big it scared them, other times they claimed their English wasn't good enough and asked me to order for them. I did everything they asked until we had eaten a few bites together. Then I clutched my stomach. Bella was observing my expression closely the whole time. "Avery, are you okay?" Acting as if I couldn't speak, I clutched my stomach and rushed into the bathroom. Bella followed me, handing me tissue, asking questions, trailing right behind me into the restroom. She didn't know that I have a weak stomach. If I drink soup before eating solid food, I usually get nauseous, vomit, or get diarrhea. This time was no exception. I turned around and delivered a solid deposit of processed grains into the toilet, successfully stinking Bella out of the room. Just as I slipped out quietly through the other door of the bathroom, Mrs. Vance called. I silenced my phone and slipped directly into the cafeteria's kitchen, grabbing a white lab coat to wrap around myself. For convenience, the focus soup window in the cafeteria was just a tap where students served themselves. Connected behind it was a giant industrial cauldron. The medicinal herbs inside were cleared out once a day. I thoughtfully washed the red berry, pretended to slip, and watched helplessly as the red berry fell right into the cauldron. After doing all this and sneaking out the side door, I finally answered the phone. Mrs. Vance's scolding immediately rained down on me. "Where have you been? Why didn't you pick up for so long? Did you give the gifts I told you to give your roommates? Did you eat with your roommates? Did your roommates give you anything? Did you keep it safe?" I put it on speakerphone. Several people passing by glanced sideways at me. Before school started, Mrs. Vance had indeed prepared many things for me to give my roommates. At the time, I thought it was her valuing me as a daughter. Now thinking back, she just wanted to use my hand to give things to Bella. It was only after I gave the gifts that Bella and the others brought out the local specialty for me. What a calculation! They wanted me to eat the red berry but started with me giving gifts first, so the others were just returning the favor. I couldn't refuse or not eat it. I suppressed the anger in my heart and put on a pained expression. "Mom, I ate something bad. I just came out of the bathroom. I can't eat right now. Can I skip dinner? I want to go to the campus clinic." Playing the victim? Who doesn't know how to do that? Sure enough, someone nearby immediately extended a helping hand. "Hey, you look terrible. Do you need help?" In front of strangers, Mrs. Vance had to say, Go. You've really been spoiled by your grandfather. Is eating ordinary food too much hardship for you? Apologize properly to your roommates when you get back." The people nearby looked weirded out, as if asking, "Why do you have to apologize to your roommates for being sick?" I endured the discomfort, listened to Mother Dearest's nagging, and asked 2 upperclassmen how to get to the clinic. They were very kind and walked me there directly. On the way, I apologized repeatedly for delaying their dinner and wasting their time. In the end, they both felt a bit embarrassed and stopped me, saying helplessly, "It's just a small favor, no need to apologize." We would have done the same for anyone else. Maybe because everyone drank a lot of soup this time, the reaction was swift. I vomited several more times. The 2 senior girls missed the cafeteria hours taking care of me. I got in 4 drip, asked my advisor for leave, and rested in the clinic until dinner time. I treated the two seniors to dinner before we all went back to our dorms. As soon as I walked in, Bella started pouring me water, acting concerned about my health. But I knew what she really wanted to know was the fate of that red berry. So I asked, "Bella, what kind of fruit was that? It was delicious. Do you have any more at home? I want to buy some to take back and share with my mom, dad, and brother." "No," Bella blurted out. Her voice was loud and decisive, completely unlike her previous timid demeanor. The dorm door was open, and several girls passing by, laughing and talking, were startled and looked over. I froze for a moment, asking confusedly, "Why?" It really was delicious. I genuinely want to buy some. I don't mean anything else by it. I'll pay market price plus a labor fee and cover the shipping, okay? Also, I'll give you a finder's fee. I just really want my family to taste such delicious fruit. I looked sincere, taking out my wallet to grab cash. The girls frozen at the door grew curious. Bella's expression shifted. It took her a while to calm down. It's just out of season. Besides, the fruit is too small. It's hard to transport. It wouldn't be worth it for you." I looked enlightened, thanking Bella repeatedly, praising her thoughtfulness, and thanking her for considering my finances. Otherwise, I would have wasted a lot of money. After all, I only had $200 a month for living expenses now. Hearing that I only had $200, a girl at the door exclaimed in surprise, $200? Is that enough? My family is just average, and my mom gives me $500 because she's afraid I won't eat enough or dress warmly and get bullied. I lowered my eyes at the right moment, my face pale from vomiting all afternoon. My mother says she wants to build my independence. They all looked at me with sympathy. That night, a post on the school forum shot to the top. "That gorgeous freshman next door, the one dropped off by a chauffeur? She only gets $200 a month. I'm starting to wonder if my family is secretly rich. I get $500. Someone posted my photo in the comments, expressing shock at my allowance. Someone recognized me from the photo and immediately doxed my identity. Avery Vance, adopted daughter of the Beijing Vance family. Master of piano, chess, calligraphy, painting, horse riding, archery, expert in everything. The awards I had won in various fields were listed out completely. You couldn't even scroll to the bottom in one go. Sophie screamed, asking me if it was all true. I nodded naturally, not mentioning the days and nights I spent practicing. Then, I caught sight of the veins bulging on Bella's hands as she gripped her desk, and the hateful glint in her eyes. She took out her phone and typed furiously. I smiled slightly, pretending I didn't see anything. The thread had already derailed, shifting from discussing living expenses to debating whether the allowance the Vance family gave me fit their status. "Avery, I've already sent your brother to pick you up. Get your ass back here immediately." Along with the forum post, Mrs. Vance's roar came through the phone. "We kindly tried to train you, to cultivate you. And not only are you ungrateful, but you're also leaking info behind our backs, ruining the Vance family name. I've really given you too much leeway." I stood by the window. I didn't need to guess what awaited me back home. In my past life, since starting college, they only had the driver drop me off once. After that, I took the bus for every trip home. I rarely even took a taxi, because I had no money. They called it cultivating me, training me. But when I came back from my part-time jobs, I saw the family car picking up and dropping off Bella several times. Back then, I kept telling myself not to overthink it, comforting myself that maybe Bella and my brother were dating. I never imagined that they didn't want me coming home because they wanted Bella to come home more often. And this time, I had eaten the red berry again, and was constantly making waves outside. Once I went back, there probably wouldn't be any need for me to come out again. I closed my eyes and Brad's twisted, crazy face floated before me. My heart trembled. I hurried downstairs, wanting to find a place to hide from this disaster, but Brad had already arrived. His face was so dark it looked like it could drip ink. He grabbed my wrist and dragged me out. Suddenly, a voice came from behind me. "Avery, is that you? We wanted to ask you to host this year's freshman gala. What do you think?" Thanks to that forum post, the student council had noticed me early. Several people approached, excitement still on their faces, but they looked alarmed when they saw my arm being gripped deathly tight by Brad. I pursed my lips, looking up with a pitiful, tear-stained face. Brother, can you take a little less blood this year? I also want to find the real Miss Vance quickly, so she doesn't suffer out there. But taking blood from the heart, it really hurts too much. Moonlight, a crying beauty, the student council members who came to find me were all shocked. Heart blood? Why take blood from the heart? What is the Vance family doing? Didn't they say Avery is their adopted daughter? Is this how you treat an adopted daughter? Isn't an adopted daughter's life a life too? Actually, in my past life, starting from this year, the Vance family stopped taking my heart blood and handed it over to a master to perform rituals. But back then, I thought they had given up on me, and I felt bad about it for a long time, trying everything to be a good daughter and honor them. Brad's face turned even uglier as he glared at me. What nonsense are you talking about? I coordinated with a tremble of my shoulders, my voice thicker with tears. Brad, please. The area over the heart isn't a place easily shown to others. Perhaps fearing gossip, the Vance family always prepared excellent scar cream for me. So for years, the scars on my chest were never discovered. I was dumped by Brad at the foot of the dorm building. Under the public gaze, if he forcibly took me away, it would be tantamount to confirming the Vance family abused their adopted daughter. Several student council members wiped sweat from their foreheads, firmly telling me I should call the police rather than let the family manipulate me. I gave a bitter smile and shook my head. With this, several more posts about me appeared on the forum. People even started creating conspiracy theories about how I learned so many things and won so many awards. My overly slender figure and perpetually pale face became their strong evidence. Mom, Dad, and Brad all sent messages and called to curse me out. Mrs. Vance even threatened to cut off my allowance entirely. I simply put these abusive calls on speakerphone, playing them publicly in the dorm, which naturally earned a hidden smile from Bella. She continued to follow me every day, urging me not to take my parents' words to heart. She said my parents just loved the real Miss Vance too much. I smiled and said nothing. The old me might have been heartbroken hearing these words. But now, I really didn't care. Because I knew perfectly well that their love had nothing to do with me. Soon Bella couldn't stay calm either. The host for the freshman gala skipped the selection process, and was confirmed directly as me. In my past life, it was during this gala that I started to feel powerless. Lines I had memorized perfectly seemed to drain away when I stood on stage, and I nearly forgot my words several times. But this time, I walked onto the stage with my partner, speaking eloquently, radiant and poised, winning a house full of applause. The posts on the forum shifted again. Some were sour, some envious opinions varied wildly. But quietly, another type of post began to creep onto the forum. People describing their own mental state. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Everyone was distressed. Meanwhile, at the desk next to my bed, Bella was staring into a mirror in a daze. This was her new normal. She spent at least 2 hours a day looking in the mirror. Sarah noticed it too. She stared at Bella for a while, then suddenly said, "Bella, your skin tone is so weird lately. One minute it's freakishly pale, the next it's scary dark. And why are your pores so huge today? They're almost as big as my mom's." Bella whipped her head around, her gaze icy. Sarah jumped and shut her mouth immediately. After a long while, Bella suddenly spoke in a sinister tone. "Avery, did you really eat the red berry I gave you?" "Of course," I said. "Didn't I ask you to get me more? Did you forget? You really ate it?" Bella stared at me. "Why? Do you regret giving it to me?" "Too late now. If you want it back, you'll have to go look in the school septic tank." Not long after, Mrs. Vance, who had been cursing me for days, sent another message. She told me not to be rude to my roommate. I swiped it away, ignoring it completely. But starting that day, Bella began trailing me closely again. She also kept buying food and drinks to give me. Of course, I refused. The excuse was ready-made. "I have no money, I can't pay you back." She chased me, trying to force them on me. Eventually, I just practically lived in the library. Not long after, Mrs. Vance actually transferred another $500 to me. She told me to be a generous host to my classmates. I took the money, turned around, and found a work-study job serving food in the cafeteria. Soon Bella didn't have time either. She signed herself up for 12 school clubs in one breath. I served food for over a month as the weather turned cold. Just in time for the weekend, Mrs. Vance suddenly came to school to pick me up for dinner. She also said that if any roommates were willing, they could come to our house for dinner too. I was adopted by the Vance family at 8. In the 10 years since, the number of times I sat at the same table with Mrs. Vance for a meal could be counted on one hand. The number of times she actively picked me up for dinner, or cared about my classmates or friends. 0. If this wasn't a trap, I'd eat my shoe. As for the purpose, it was obviously because my body hadn't changed, while Bella's body had changed too much. I pulled up a notice from the cafeteria work group chat, and shoved it in front of Mrs. Vance. Recently, there are suspicions that the cafeteria food isn't clean, so we have to do strict hygiene work. I don't have time. Yes. Recently, more and more posts on the forum about feeling stupid were popping up, and people were starting to suspect the cafeteria. Mrs. Vance probably never expected I would refuse. Her face immediately turned nasty. Avery, I am your mother. Do I have to beg you just to come home for a meal now? Her voice wasn't quiet, instantly attracting the attention of many people. I immediately jumped into character, kneeling right at her feet, going for maximum pity. Mom, please don't be mad. I'll go home with you right now. You can take as much heartblood as you want. Please just don't be angry. My eyes were misty, my shoulders trembling. Mrs. Vance froze, her face cycling through green, red, purple, and white. She really wasn't a good actor. Or rather, she never allowed me to step outside their control. So when she opened her mouth again, it turned sinister. Avery, think clearly. If you don't come back this time, don't ever come back. Bella appeared out of nowhere. Avery, even if you're dissatisfied with your adoptive parents, that's still your home. They're the parents who raised you. Hurry up and apologize. Auntie will definitely forgive you. She must have absorbed someone's achievement today because her makeup skills were god tier, almost making her look like a fairy. I was surprised for a moment before recognizing her. Bella, how did you turn out like this? Didn't you say you've never worn makeup before? How are you so good at it? Oh, why are you talking about me? Bella said, feigning helplessness. Hurry up and apologize to Auntie. Mom, I lowered my head meekly. It's not that I don't want to go home with you. It's just that the knife stabs really hurt too much. Can I give a little less blood this year? I suddenly pulled open my shirt. The layers of knife scars over my left breast were exposed to everyone. It hurts every time I breathe lately. It really hurts. My tears fell again. Bella froze. Mrs. Vance was dumbstruck. She never imagined I would strip in public. And the schoolmates who had gossiped about me countless times stared dumbly at the scars on my chest, frozen. Until someone suddenly jumped up. Holy shit, that's murder. Stabbing the heart to take blood? That is straight up attempted murder. Like a sudden clap of thunder, everyone snapped out of it. I quickly covered my chest, shaking my head repeatedly, tears flying. No, it's not. My mother just loves her biological daughter too much. It's over. The Vance family has brainwashed this kid stupid, someone gasped. Look at those scars. They've taken it so many times. She just said it hurts to breathe. Med school. Is there anyone from med school to take a look? Someone shouted. Someone rushed over, dropped a stack of books and papers next to me, and grabbed my wrist to check my pulse. Mrs. Vance finally snapped out of it, her face iron gray. I raised you, and this is how you repay me? She stormed off directly. Mom. I immediately brushed off the person checking my pulse and chased after her, trembling. But after just a few steps, I tripped and fell, my knees instantly bloody, and was surrounded by the classmates who chased after me. Mrs. Vance didn't look back. Her car sped away, spewing exhaust. Bella stood outside the crowd, a look of pure, refreshing delight in her eyes. I glanced at her from a distance, rolled my eyes back, and fainted amidst everyone's screams. I became a living case study for the medical school. After learning about the situation, the school administration communicated with me specifically to ask if I needed the school's help to assert my rights. I shook my head and refused. I stated that although the Vance family adopted me without my consent, they had raised me for so many years, and I needed to have a grateful heart. This statement somehow got leaked online, and people lamented that the Vance family had raised me into a fool. The Vance family business spanned many industries and had many fans. Many didn't believe it. But after my schoolmates saw the posts, they immediately began rallying for me. Amidst the diverse opinions, Bella suddenly glanced at me and said, "Avery, isn't this bad? No matter what, the Vance family raised you for so many years." She was lying on her desk drawing an industrial architectural blueprint. Despite never studying architectural design, she was entranced, drawing as if guided by a god. But her face today was truly unsightly. Her eyebrows were inexplicably thicker, and the tip of her nose seemed exceptionally large. She didn't look like a girl, she looked burly. Yet her figure was completely different. Her chest was huge, her butt incredibly perky, but her legs were extremely muscular. Any way you looked at it, she looked distorted. I lay on my bed stretching my legs, scrolling through forum posts wailing about lost talents. I pointedly said, "Bella, since when can you draw architectural blueprints? It's like the talent of that senior in the forum post just jumped into your body." Bella's back stiffened instantly. She stammered, "How? How is that possible? I just suddenly wanted to draw." Yeah, that senior's achievements from years of practice just suddenly vanished. I tutted twice. And this other senior, his invincible kickboxing legs, practiced since childhood, are gone too. Bella went silent. I curled my lip. In my past life, I was used to seeing her strut around arrogantly. I didn't expect her actual psychological resilience to be this weak. The school conducted investigations across various majors, but couldn't find the reason for the sudden disappearance of students' hard-earned skills. Even more terrifying was that the number of students losing their achievements was increasing. Even several professors suddenly forgot the results of years of research. Bella became increasingly anxious, because she discovered that among all the people whose achievements disappeared, I wasn't included. My body didn't change at all either. I even easily won the championship in a Go tournament held on campus. Approaching finals, the atmosphere at school was downright terrifying. Bella started bringing me all kinds of food, drinks, and items again. I stuck to my line, "No, can't pay you back." She chased me, trying to force them on me. Eventually, I just practically lived in the library. Finals for each college took place gradually. On the day it was our turn, just like before, I carefully and earnestly filled out my exam paper. After exam week was winter break. No more group activities students could leave on their own. In my past life, every long break, I went directly to my grandfather's place until school started again. This time, my father dearest said he arranged a job for me in the company's PR department and told me to give it a try. He even arranged a small apartment near the company for me to live in alone. Bella looked at me, pursing her lips. "Will you go?" "No. I didn't even think about it." She was incredibly surprised. "Why?" "PR department. A department facing the public, occasionally needing to go on camera to announce things. If I took it, given the prior public opinion, people would inevitably suspect I was building momentum for myself just to fight for power and profit. No need for that. Besides, PR works year-round. I'd be slaving away, working for their family of 4? Are you kidding me?" I ignored her, grabbed my bags, and left school. Destination Newport. I was going to participate in the last sailing regatta of the year. For the next 10 days, no one contacted me. Until in the work group chat I joined for the freshman gala, upperclassmen kept mentioning that grades were coming out too late this year. In college, no one is afraid of not testing while they're just afraid of failing. But with no grades released, people were getting anxious. Until 2 president-level figures were asked to return to school to review proctor surveillance footage. Then 2 more and 2 more. Hundreds of student council members were recalled. Students in my year started sensing something unusual and began asking around. Until we started receiving calls from the police one after another. A PhD student lost years of research results. He couldn't remember a thing about what he had been studying all these years. The result of his hard-fought exam was a score of 112. Under a mental breakdown, he chose to call the police directly. When I rushed back to school from Newport, it was already New Year's Eve. Not many people had returned, including the 2 seniors who took me to the clinic. The officer in charge questioned me in detail about everything I had done since reporting to school. I answered everything truthfully, including the red berry I accidentally dropped into the school boiler. What about anything else? Did you encounter anything strange while at school? We talked for hours until our mouths were dry, but I still thought back carefully. My roommate is a bit strange. Does that count? I took out the photos I had secretly taken of Bella recently. Her name is Bella. She's super smart. According to her, aside from standard subjects, she's never studied anything extracurricular. But she picks up makeup and looks like a pro. She picks up test tubes and does experiments, draws architectural blueprints incredibly well, like a veteran with years of experience. But none of that counts. What I find strange is her body. I put all the photos together for them to compare themselves. If I could spot the problems, so could these people who deal with criminals all year round. They quickly noticed the changes in Bella's face and figure. I kept babbling on, not noticing that the officer opposite me had already changed his expression. On New Year's Day, Bella was invited to the school to assist with the investigation. Brad brought her. Before entering the office for questioning, he repeatedly and gently told Bella not to be afraid. His gaze swept over me as I fetched water for instant noodles, and his face turned extremely ugly. You again? HM? I raised my eyebrows. I just got the police notification to come back yesterday too. I heard all the test takers this year got the same score. The officer said we all have to come back and cooperate. Bella's face went instantly pale. Everyone. Yeah, I smiled slightly, enunciating every word. The whole school. Everyone. In that instant she almost couldn't stand. Brad's expression changed too. He subconsciously looked at Bella, seeming to want to say something, but swallowed it back down. Just then, the senior who called the police rushed from the other end of the hallway. Is that Bella? A group of people followed him urgently, but they couldn't stop him. The senior punched Bella so hard she flew backward. Brad tried to block him, so the storm of fists landed on his face. I held a bowl of instant noodles, dodging left and right. Thanks to a police officer helping me, I didn't spill hot soup on Bella's face. I regretfully found a seat and sat down. The brawl ended, and Brad protected Bella, fiercely questioning the police. But the officer didn't flinch, looking straight at Bella. So, Miss Bella, do you want to know your score? Bella, no matter how foolish, knew something was wrong with her score. She wanted to shake her head, but reality forced her to nod. 17.5 million points. Several people who had also come for questioning looked over in shock. Bella's lips trembled uncontrollably, her teeth chattering. She subconsciously looked at Brad. Brad wanted to comfort her, tell her not to be afraid, but Bella was already taken into a temporary interrogation room by the police. Her phone was confiscated. Her chat logs with the Vance family were quickly uncovered. My mother, Mrs. Vance, had helped her get the red berry from some Thai master. As long as I ate it, she would gain all the achievements I had obtained. The chat logs explicitly discussed usage methods, and how to squeeze the last bit of value out of me to lift Bella up. Bella broke down on the spot. I am the real Miss Vance. My parents just wanted to help me take back what was mine. What did we do wrong? Her voice carried out. The alumni whose achievements were stolen, and the classmates who inexplicably failed went berserk on the spot. Brad and Bella only managed to walk out of the school under police protection. She pointed at me, screaming hoarsely, "It's all your fault. You did this on purpose. You just didn't want me to come back." I stood there dumbly holding my noodle bucket. "I didn't know you were Mom and Dad's biological daughter." She angrily tried to kick me. This time, my brother's blocking didn't work anymore. The Vance family was directly exposed online. Watching those ferocious alumni, I felt no ripples in my heart. Once, I was just like them, utterly broken, my faith collapsed. I also had to endure their ridicule and contempt. Now they were just experiencing what I had once experienced. Bella and Brad were detained on the spot. Although a school final isn't a major national exam, mocking classmates, using feudal superstition to harm others, and stealing other people's results are serious crimes. The Vance couple was also summoned to the station to cooperate. They tried their hardest to distance themselves from Bella, to extract themselves and Brad. I quickly went to see Bella, and delivered this good news to her. Beneath her shifting, sometimes beautiful, sometimes twisted face, she screamed madly. Why? Why? I finally learned that at first, she was like every timid real daughter found and brought home, only daring to extend her feelers cautiously. The Vance family spent so much time cultivating her fearless confidence. Especially Mrs. Vance. The idea of achievement theft, of stealing everything from me to give to Bella, she came up with it. I thought about it and decided to give poor Bella a hand. I hired a reporter for her. The reporter recorded Bella's hideous face with a camera. Once released, the Vance family and the Vance group were once again at the center of the storm. Grandpa Vance, who raised me, sighed and called me, hoping I wouldn't pursue it further. I couldn't help but sigh back. Grandpa, it's not me pursuing it. Once, I told him my pain countless times, and all I got in return were sighs. Now, I could only return a sigh to him. They maneuvered desperately, trying to minimize the issue, to save the Vance couple and Brad from disaster. But the anger of tens of thousands of students isn't so easily quelled. Scores can be retaken, but what about talent? What about achievements? Influenced by public opinion, the Vance family business went downhill fast. I took the opportunity to sell my previous stocks and bought Vance Group shares at rock bottom. The police had to issue a statement revealing the Vance family's actions, and stating that they were already thinking of ways to help the students whose achievements were stolen find a way to recover. The family of 4 would pay the legal price. The school, coordinating with the announcement, released the semester's grades. Learning that Sophie and Sarah failed, their parents nearly beat them to death. Not long after, the prosecution won a total victory. Bella, conspiring with her biological parents and brother to use superstitious means to steal others' achievements and disrupt the order of large-scale exams, were sentenced to 5 years in prison each. Bella was expelled from school, never to be admitted again. Grandpa Vance, with his trembling body, maintained the barely remaining situation of the Vance group. During the board meeting, I sat smiling at his right hand. He nearly died of anger. Grandpa, I'm still young. Please make lots of money for me in the future. As long as you make money, I'll listen to you about everything in the group. I never went back to the Vance house. I didn't feel I owed them anything. They ignored my will, forcibly adopting me just because I looked a bit like Bella, and was born on the same year, month, day, and time, forcing me to give heart blood. Everything I have is what I deserve. Not long after they were transferred to prison, they were transferred out one after another. Professional doctors took blood from their hearts according to the time, 9 times per person, mixed it together, and gave it to a master to perform a ritual. However, not long after the ritual started, news suddenly came from the prison. During daily activities, under the sunlight, Bella suddenly spontaneously combusted. Like a mine buried inside her body, she exploded without a trace. Reporters learned that starting from the spring equinox, Bella began to inexplicably bleed from her 7 orifices. Her body changes were also exceptionally frequent. Sometimes she could change faces several times a day. Spring was bright. With Bella's explosion, the school atmosphere gradually returned to normal. Those desperate, broken voices gradually faded away. Sighing at my good fortune, I continued to focus on filling out the application form in front of me. With a professor's recommendation, I was applying to my dream university again. On the day I left, I received news about the Vance family one last time. The Vance couple and Brad, weeping bitterly, begged for my forgiveness. They regretted it. Regretted finding Bella. Regretted being so cruel to me. I asked around and found out that due to the cycle of karma, they inexplicably began to experience changes in their faces and bodies. However, what did any of that have to do with me? Starting over, I have no regrets. Now the world is wide, and I'm going to enjoy it. Likewise, I hope the Vance family can enjoy these new changes too.